Hi, I'm Krista Compton, and I serve as the Bishop of the New Jersey Synod of the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America, the ELCA. On behalf of the New Jersey Lutherans, I have an invitation for you. I recently watched the movie Hamnet, which is about the death of William and Anne Shakespeare's 11-year-old son. The movie offers a powerful meditation on a particular kind of grief and what it means to keep living when your heart is as broken as it can possibly be. I've since learned that director Chloe Zhao regularly had the cast engage in dance parties on the set. After they had filmed an especially difficult scene, they would dance together to help them process the heavy emotions they were carrying. When the cast finished its final day of filming, they had a full-on dance party to Rihanna's hit song, "We Found Love in a Hopeless Place." Look up the video of that Hamnet dance party, it's delightful. By the end, the entire cast and crew are dancing together, with the cast still in their 16th century costumes. When you have been immersed in heartache, a dance party seems like one way to reconnect with joy. That video made me smile for many reasons, one of which is that the song "We Found Love in a Hopeless Place" is at the top of my Easter playlist. Each Easter Sunday for many years, I've cranked up that song as I drive to church early in the morning. And here's the thing, the unbridled hope in that song, the energy it unleashes, feels all the more powerful after walking through the more somber parts of Holy Week. Resurrection is about fully embodied hope, an encounter with the risen Christ who just days before had been brutally crucified. We experience that Easter hope more fully when we have walked with Jesus through the complete story of Holy Week. I know that it can be hard to get to church that many days in a row, but it's often more than busy schedules that makes us hesitant to show up. Maybe we're so accustomed to standing apart from each other, judging from a distance, that it's difficult to imagine sitting with the Maundy Thursday story of Jesus sharing a meal and washing the feet of his friends. Jesus shows us a tender, up-close kind of love, and it scares us sometimes, especially when Jesus tells us to love each other in that same way. But that's exactly the kind of love the world needs right now. Maybe we carry so much grief that it's impossible to imagine walking through the grief of Good Friday. But as we follow Jesus to the cross, we understand that there is no place that Jesus will not go to be with us in our suffering. He dies at the hands of an empire that feels threatened by the magnitude of his mercy. That mercy, we learn, is for each of us. Maybe it's hard to imagine that our small story could be part of something much bigger. So we come to an Easter Vigil service and learn how our stories are part of God's story of salvation. Maybe it's difficult to believe that there can be something on the other side of death. That's what Easter shows us, that God does not let death have the last word. Even in the midst of grief, there can be dancing and laughter and community because we trust that God's resurrection promises are true, and they are true for us. I invite you to find a nearby church where you can experience the fullness of Holy Week worship, which begins on April 2nd. I encourage you to worship with an ELCA Lutheran church where you will be welcomed and fed at God's table and reminded that resurrection does not depend on our worthiness, but is entirely dependent on God's grace. And as you head back into the world, you might even find yourself dancing.